So you want to be holding in this week's Torah portion? Of course you do. Here are your Shpark Notes. Parashat B'haalotecha. God bless you. Hashem instructs Moshe Rabbeinu to train the Levi'im in the ancient art of lamp lighting. You think it's easy to light Mishkan lamps? Think again. First, the Levi'im need to go through a purification process. They start by getting spritzed with some sacred water, and then they shave their entire bodies so that they look like Olympic swimmers, and then they wash their clothes. It's an elaborate process called SSL, spritz, shave, laundry, and it's not meant to be taken lightly. So, sorry for just taking it lightly. I apologize. And finally, they have to present an offering, and this is not just any offering. This is an offering of full submission, giving themselves over to God, who apparently wants them spritzed, smooth, and freshly laundered. Don't take it lightly. And so the Levi'im, osim v'shomim, they do, and they hear, and they enter into a contract with Hashem. Their contracts are for 25 years, starting at the age of 25 and ending at the age of 50. However, you can stay on as a volunteer to help out around the Mishkan. But a reminder that this is on a volunteer basis. It's kind of like being a docent at a museum. Kinda. And then the Torah goes into some word association. It goes like this. The Levi'im belong to God as a substitute for the plague of the firstborn back in Egypt. Speaking of Egypt, you should observe Pesach. How do you observe Pesach? You need to eat the Paschal offering. How do you eat the Paschal offering? Well, you need to be in a state of purity. And if you weren't in a state of purity the first time that Pesach comes around, you get a redo, a mulligan for a Pesach Sheni. But if you were pure at the first time of Pesach and you just chose not to eat the Paschal offering, you're in a lot of trouble, my friend. Speaking of trouble, God is going to protect the Israelites and keep them out of trouble by being a pillar of fire at night and as a protective cloud during the day, covering the entirety of the Israelite camp. Speaking of the Israelite camp, Hashem says to Moshe, you're going to need 2 big trumpets. It's going to serve as like a loudspeaker system so that everyone in the camp is on the same page. Speaking of being on the same page, how's everyone enjoying that manna? You know, that special food given by God each and every single day that tastes exactly like whatever you want it to taste like, and it's magical and filling and wonderful, and you don't have to lift a single finger. So it's here where the word association stops and everything just gets quiet and tense, because the Israelites are not enjoying their manna. And so they do what the Israelites tend to do. They whine. They decide to start begging for meat, and it happens day in and day out. And it gets so bad that Moshe actually goes to God and says, please take care of this whining, and if you don't take care of this whining, then do me a favor and kill me. And God says to Moshe, a little dramatic, but okay. And so God brings a flood, but not the kind of flood that we had earlier in the Torah with Noah. It's not a flood of water. This is a flood of quail. Quail everywhere, all over the place, as far as the eye can see, up to your legs in quail. And the Israelites are ecstatic until they're not. They eat so much quail that they get sick that it's coming out their nose to a point where they say, God, please, no more quail ever again. You know, the same thing happened to me in 7th grade with Pringles, so I know exactly how they feel. Anyway, everyone's all grumpy and irritable from the whole quail debacle, even Aaron and Miriam. And they're a little on edge, and they start doing some kvetching of their own. Racist kvetching. They seem pretty upset and a little judgmental that Moshe married a Cushite woman. And so they gossip amongst themselves, but God hears them gossiping and decides to punish Miriam with the standard punishment for racist gossip, skin disease. But more than being just itchy and splotchy, the real punishment here for Miriam is ostracization, being separated from the Israelite camp for 7 days. It's kind of like a embarrassing timeout of sorts, a way for Miriam to think about what she did. And Aaron, not really mentioned right now, but he'll get his comeuppance later. And so there you have it. Light bulbs, quail, and skin disease. Just another day in the meat bar. Join us next week when we get into some serious desert drama and the mutinies begin. Until then, this was Parashat B'haalotecha, and these were your Shpark Notes. The rest is commentary. Go and learn.